All right, welcome to this video and to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to cut cement backerboard. I'm recently involved in a shower renovation project, and cement backerboard is basically the stuff that you'll put up instead of a drywall sheet. It's kind of water resistant, but cutting it can be extremely challenging. So hopefully this video can help you out. We'll be making 3 different cuts together. Now the instructions say you should typically score and snap, kind of like this, but without leverage, it can be kind of hard to do. So this is the problem that we'll try to solve. We'll also be making 3 separate cuts together, a long cut like this down a 3x5 sheet of 1/2 inch Hardiebacker with room for leverage to score and snap. But also the second kind of cut that we'll do together is a cut like this, where you don't have any leverage at all to score and snap. Instead, we'll be scoring, and I'll show you how I cut this cleanly. This stuff is really durable stuff, and very difficult indeed to cut. So how do we cut a narrow strip cut like that? And the third cut that we'll do together is a hole for the faucet or the handle and trim piece like this. So I'll show you how to make a perfectly round cut. Now the instructions say do not use power tools. However, if you have a respirator and a forced air evacuation tube like that on some type of rotary saw or a circular saw that's able to be hooked up to like a shop vac, for example, that is a possibility, although I do not recommend it. This stuff, when it's cut, it creates a lot of silica dust, and if you come close to breathing this stuff in, that's bad news. So we're going to stay tried and true to the instructions and the scoring and snapping kind of approach. So first of all, we'll need some different tools, and what I like to do is take a straight edge, make my marks and my measurements, and then hold that straight edge down with a clamp, kind of like that on both ends. This is important because as you score, you don't want for the first time, you don't want it to deviate from the line that you drew. So this is the tool that I use. I'll put a link down in the description below. It's a basic scoring tool. It's got a carbide tip, and it costs a few bucks. You can upgrade to one that's, maybe $12 or so, but this is the one that I use and prefer. Now, once you've made your scoring, I do about 5 passes with the scorer, and then you could potentially take a set of garden shears like this and kind of clip it. Not my preferred way, but check out. We'll do a couple sample cuts together, and you can decide, which one you might like. But it does have kind of a nice, generally a clean cut that stays true to your scoring line that you did. It kind of snaps away. However, during that, you'll need to clamp down with 2 hands to get through this stuff because it's kind of thick, and it does kind of hurt or put some pressure on your hands themselves. So here's another way. We can take a pliers. This is our first cut together, right? Our narrow strip cut that we're going to do. And keep that straight edge on there just to be sure it doesn't break outside of that scoring line. Make sure your scoring line is nice and deep, right? And you might need to run over it a couple other times as you break this stuff away. But look what we're doing here. We're taking a pliers, and we're just kind of breaking it away and kind of pulling it off. And it does take a while, but unless you're commercially, you're doing this and time is an issue, this is a preferred way for me because I can control it really well. The shears kind of snaps, and you could potentially break outside that score line and have a disaster on your hands. So I prefer a more conservative route by using the pliers, and then you could kind of clean that up with the scoring, the carbide tip there, and kind of knock it out like that. You could also use a hammer to get that nice and more cleanly cut. So that's how I handle a really narrow strip in which scoring and snapping is not an option because there's not a lot of good leverage. Now the second cut we'll be doing together is a longer cut that is a little wider, and it will have some more leverage to score and snap. But with this 1/2 inch stuff, it can be kind of tricky because it's so thick, and your scoring line has to be super deep, or it just might not score very well or snap very well. So let me show you what we do, or what I do. I am making my measurements here, and this is a real piece of backerboard that I'll be installing in my shower, so it's not just for demo purposes. I'm actually going to be using this, so I'm going to measure 5 times and cut once. So we'll go ahead and make our initial scoring line. Now, a little trick: if you have a shop vac, as you score, take that shop vac and wash away or suck up all that dust, because your second and third and subsequent passes with the scorer will basically just run over that dust, and it won't cut as easily. So get your shop vac out. Now, this is the problem, right? If your scoring line is not deep enough, or if you don't have enough leverage, you're not going to be able to snap that out. So here's what I do. Put a straight piece of wood underneath, right underneath the scoring line. You can see it right there in the video, with the long side kind of out, and you'll press down on that longer width. And it should create a really nice, I'm breaking away from the scoring line. The instructions, I think, say break toward, but this worked really well for me. The third cut and the last cut that we'll be doing together is a perfect hole for the trim and shower handle. So I just have a piece of roll of tape that I measured. I want it to be about 5 inches in diameter. Of course, you'll need to measure your own diameter preference and whatnot, but I'll transfer that hole from my drawings, from my measurements, to the actual backer board and confirm that I have the proper cut. Here's a close-up view of that carbide tip scorer, and I'll go ahead and I had to make a couple of circles there, adjustments. It wasn't right the first time, and I'll go ahead and score around in a circular controlled motion. Go nice and slow. You don't want that score slipping and kind of walking outside of the drawn line. And after that outer perimeter line is scored, we'll make some crosses, some pizza or some pie shaped cuts like this, nice and deep. Again, get that shop vac out, wipe up all that powder. It'll make your subsequent scoring cuts a lot easier and more effective. Now, if you just take your hammer like this, it might not pop out. Those are some pretty, I'm kind of a weenie, but pretty hefty hits, and it might not go. So one trick that I have, take a screw and actually screw it right down the center and do about 4 or 5 other screw holes. Just create a couple of holes there. This really limits the dust that comes up, and then it should pop out nice and easy. You'll want to make sure you put your sawhorse brace, your sawhorse, right underneath that. You don't want it to be like in the middle of your 2 sawhorses, for example, where it's not supported as you hammer things out. That's maybe an extra precaution. This stuff's pretty durable, but I like to support it on the underside. Next, I'll take my pliers, and you can keep hammering it with the hammer if you feel comfortable, but I like that controlled pliers approach. It does take a few extra minutes, but this has to be a really perfect cut. I don't want to mess this up. A hammer, of course, you run the risk of cracking outside of that scoring line and rendering your attempt useless and futile, and you'll have to start over. So, and then I kind of chip away, break away the edges, kind of like that, and then I'll use the hammer, bracing it appropriately with the sawhorse. I use the hammer to kind of knock down those under edges. The underside sticks out a little bit, and I want my measurement still to be 5 inches in diameter. So you might need to take the score and do a couple extra little hits, but that is pretty much how I make my diameter, my holes there really, really perfect. I mean, relatively speaking, right? You'll still have some jagged edges because it's, well, cement backerboard. And this stuff is not going to be a finished edge, but of course we'll put that up on the wall and tile over it. So we'll finish up the pounding and the evening out here. And that is the final result. Let's see how that last cut fit over my template. Of course, we'll remove those 2 screws there that I had. All right, pretty much a perfect cylinder, perfect cut there. Allows that little plaster ground to slide in and out. And that is it. We'll stop the video there. The rest should be up to you, but that hopefully has helped you think about some effective ways to cut this really durable, dense cement backer board. Thanks for being with me, and for more do-it-yourself home projects and videos like this, be sure to subscribe.